Shalom, praise the Lord, Gloria a Dios, happy Hanukkah to everyone. And today's subject will be the cutoff from the land of the living. You know, I always come up with something new, and today's title of mine is Cut Off from the Land of the Living. Or you can also call me as a Joshua from Zechariah chapter 3 that caught up in the heaven with a filthy cloth. So let's start. Why am I putting the new title today as a cut off from the land of the living? Now, if we go from the beginning, from the Genesis to all the way to the Malachi or even the New Testament, who was cut off from the land of the living? What is that cut off from the land of the living? There is only two places that word has been used. One on Daniel chapter when 62:7 will pass, which is 434, which is 36 years. 36 years will pass and the anointed one will be cut off from the land. So do on the same time in Isaiah chapter 52 and 53, mainly on 53, talking about the cut off one. He was cut off from the land of the living, and then he was given the prolonged life. Now I will read some of those 53 chapter of Isaiah to make you understand who was this cut off one that we are waiting for. Because if you look from the Genesis chapter, was it Adam is the one was cut off from the scene because what Eve did it, or his son Cain was cut off from the land when he killed his brother, or his brother was cut off from the land, Abel, the one who was bringing the good tithe and the sacrifice to the Lord, and he was the one who was cut off from the land, or the Jacob, the one who stole the birthright from Esau and run away from the home for 17 years, was he? He was the cut off from the land. Or we talking about Joseph, age of 17, he was sold out. Was he the cut off from the land? Or the one who never end up in the promised land? Those are the cut off from the land. Or the Daniel from the dead, the Daniel was cut off from his house and went to exile age of 17. Who was this anointed one cut off in the Daniel chapter? Was he a Jesus that what everybody is talking about, or it is somebody else? Now if you read chapter 53, and as you know, the Jewish people believe that this Messiah is not the Jesus, he is our Messiah, which is from the son of King David, his own son. Remember, 2 Samuel 7:13. Everybody is waiting for this anointed one or Moshiach, which is the Jewish people mainly. They believe that, or it is written, it's nothing to be believed, it's written that the Moshiach will come from the tribe of Judah, from King David's son, one of his son. If you read 2 Samuel 7:13, it says from his own blood and flesh. I explained to you so many times when he says his own seed from his own blood and flesh means one of his own son. Now, you know, we also believe, most of the Jewish people believe the Moshiach, it will be also considered as a Daniel from the dead. Now, Daniel, according to 2 Chronicle or 1 Chronicle it's written that Daniel is the son of King David. Now, we don't know too much about Daniel, but the Daniel was exiled age of 17. But we don't have no idea whose son he was. Only if you Google it out, some places it says he was the son of King David and is exiled. And it's like, okay, it's like there are so many families, they're born in other country and they send their children to go study in the other country. And I have a feeling that Daniel was sent to exile to learn more than in captivity. I believe that he went to go learn the royal things because he was from the king family. Or even though if it is not, I still believe because I am that Daniel from the dead, and so I think I am the son of King David, the second son of King David, the Daniel. Because Daniel was promised, remember, Daniel was promised to come back. In the 12th chapter of Daniel, 12:13, this is what it says. This is what Daniel talk about. As for you, go your way until the end. At the end of the days, you will rise again to receive your inheritance. And when you connect with the inheritance and you go to the chapter 7:13, as my vision continued that night, I saw someone look like man coming with the cloud of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and he led into his presence. Now, again, people are going to have a problem with the Ancient of Days. When I said Ancient of Days or Ancient One means not a God. Ancient One is somebody who was born before. Born before. Remember, not exist. According to Jesus, Jesus said his identity, main identity is I am he. Me and my father is one. I was exist before Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I am the anointed one. Or I am the light of the world. I am the bread of life. I am the true wine. All those identity, if you compare the same thing on Isaiah 53 and understand the Isaiah 53 is talking about two different Moshiach. Even though it seems like the suffering servant in the beginning of the chapter, it looks like a suffering servant. It is, as we know, that Jesus was suffered on the cross. But if you read the chapter 53 in the end, it's totally different if you understand. At the same time, if you read the Daniel chapter, Daniel saw all the visions and God had promised him to come back so he can see those visions again and understand and open the book. That's who I am. I am the Daniel from the dead whose God have promised to come back. And that's what the chapter 53 in the end is talking about, that I am going to read just a few scriptures on 52 and 53 to make you understand, because you need to understand 2 Samuel 7:13 when God is talking about. Let me read properly that one so you can understand. The Lord declared to you that the Lord himself will establish a house for you when your days are over and you rest with your ancestor or with your father Jesse. I will raise up your offspring to succeed you. What is offspring? Offspring is my own children. It's my own children is my offspring. Not his children is not my offspring. My offspring is my son to succeed you, your own flesh and blood. So my flesh and blood is my son only, and his son will be his blood and flesh. So he's talking about one of his own son will come back. And I will establish his kingdom. He is the one who will build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. That never happened yet. That never happened. So this is going to happen through the son of King David. Now look what it says. I will be his father and he will be my son. So God do not have son, but God have a son which is adopted from the King David. King David's son will be his son, he says. I will be his father and he will be my son. When he does wrong, I will punish him. Wait a minute. He's talking about if he does wrong, that means he knows already that this son of King David will do wrong thing also, which is just like what Solomon did. So over here, he said, if he does wrong, I will punish him with a rod of wielded by men, with a flogging inflicted by human hands, but my love will never be taken away from him as I took it away from Saul. So he wasn't going to take any favor from him, even though he will do the sin. So this Moshiach we talking about is perfectly human being, born of a man and a woman, and a sinner. He has to be sinner. And that's what he is over here he's talking about. So the Moshiach will be not the one have not sinned. He will be just like you all had done sin, but God found something on him and made him a righteous. Now, how he become a righteous, what happened to him, I will explain to you that one on Isaiah 53. So that way you will understand what God is talking about. Now remember, I told you what Jesus' identity was, and he said he was exist before. But over here on 2 Samuel 7:13, God is talking about in the middle. This son of King David is not was exist before. He wasn't born before. He is going to be coming back again. Say, one of his own son will be coming back to build the house for God, the temple. That's what he's talking about in 2 Samuel 7:13. Now, a lot of people, I understand, they're having the issue with Zechariah chapter 12 about the suffering servant. Now, let me tell you, nobody will mourn for anybody unless they know that person very well, or they have seen in their life, or they've been part of the family for years. And if that person die, people will mourn. Even if you call the families of friends and everybody, yes, they will come to the funeral place to mourn. But if they don't know, and if you start talking about him, they're just not going to mourn. It's like when you all see the movie of Jesus, yes, he was crucified, and you see how they did it to him, and maybe some people will cry, and some people won't cry. But we didn't see, so even though in the chapter 12 is talking about that they will mourn, I mean, unless there will be already resurrection of the death. And if the clan of David and clan of Nathan and the clan of Zechariah or all the tribes, that whoever seen him that time that he was suffering and he was crucified on the cross, then it is a different story. Even though they had seen that part, why would they be mourn when now they see him alive? So it doesn't make any sense. People would not be mourned until they see somebody knew him very well. So the chapter 12 is when they're talking about that they will mourn for the one they have pierced. It doesn't make any sense to me, but we leave it that one over there. Now we're going to go to chapter 53 to make you understand. Now if we go to the chapter 52, in the end, it says, see, my servant will act wisely. He will be raised and lifted up, highly exalted. When he said he will be raised and lifted up, highly exalted, it could be that this person over here, his position will be changed. He will be lifted up to the different level, and also it shows that exalted above everybody, or God will exalt him to the place that everybody will be surprised. Okay, then it says, just as there were many who were appalled at him. Appalled, what is appalled? It's telling story. People will talk about him. His appearance was so disfigured beyond of that any man, and his form made beyond human likeness. So will he sprinkle many nations. Now this sentence is in a future. Look at this. He says, so will he sprinkle many nations. I don't see that many nation has been sprinkled yet. I mean, you see, you don't see everybody born again yet. You don't see the Spirit of the Lord is upon everybody yet. Not everybody's been redeemed yet. So over here is talking about so will he sprinkle many nations, and kings will shut their mouth, and because of him. That's not happened. That's never been happened in the past. But in the future, all the kings' mouth will be shut. It will be shut when the new king will come in the throne. Next. For what they were not told, they will see, and what they have not heard, they will understand. Because whole world don't know this, that God have promised a King David that one day I will bring your son, and he will be on my throne forever and ever, and he will be king, and all the world of the king will be shut their mouth, and he will sprinkle many more nations. Now listen what he says in the down on the chapter 53. Now when you read chapter 53, yes, it seems like it's talking about Jesus. Okay, but let's go in the bottom. I will go in the middle of everywhere to make you the understand of the wording. And that way you will know that chapter 53, he is talking about transgression. Yes, he says he was pierced for our transgression as a sins. He was crushed for our iniquities, the punishment that brought the peace upon him, and by his wound we were healed. We all like sheep have gone astray, each of us turned to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Again, iniquity, not the sin. Remember, not the sin. But now look, what does it down say? He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led in like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearer is silent. So he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And who can speak of his descendant? For he was cut off from the land of the living. Now, who was this person cut off from the land of the living? If Jesus was cut off from the land of the living, because according to the New Testament, he was buried in Israel, in Jerusalem. He was crucified over there. He wasn't cut off from the land unless we can say that, well, he was cut off because they killed him. By oppression and judgment he was taken away, and who can speak of his descendant? For he was cut off from the land of the living. Now, cut off the land of the living. So, and the descendant. I agree that he wasn't married. It says in the New Testament, he don't have no children. But according to, if you Google it down, they talk about him that he had a descendant, he had a kids and whatever. But let's put that he don't have no descendant, he was cut off from the land of the living. So do the Daniel. Daniel was cut off from the land of the living. He don't have no descendant, he don't have no children. It doesn't say that he had a kids because he was unique. So the thing is, let's go see. He was the cut off from the land of the living. So over here, for he was cut off from the land of the living, for the transgression of my people he was stricken. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death. He was assigned a grave. Remember, he was, whoever this guy is over here, he had a grave. Assigned the grave. It wasn't the tomb. He's talking about he was already in the grave with the wicked, grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death. So this person is already died and he's in the grave. Though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in the mouth, Daniel did the same thing. Daniel did the same thing. Look at this. For it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. When Daniel went, he suffered also. If anybody, any young kids leave at a young age, you don't know what they have to go through. What he was going through when he was in exile. Or anybody else. I'm not about Daniel. Let's talk about maybe Joseph. So over here, he's talking about, yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days. Whom he's talking about? If he's talking about Jesus to come back as he was the one cut off, or we're talking about the Daniel that he will see his offspring and prolong his days, because I am the one got the prolonged days. I am the one, I saw the Son of Man came in the cloud, he rested upon me, he took my spirit in his body, and he left me his spirit within me. I am the one is the prolonged one. I am the one will see my descendant, my offspring. That's what he's talking about. So let's see over here. Let me explain to you. And though the Lord makes his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days, and the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After the suffering of his soul, listen, this one is very, very, very important. After the suffering of his soul, whose soul? The prolonged one. He's talking about the prolonged one. The one he will give the life. He will have the prolonged life. He is the one talking about that after the suffering of his soul, he will see the light of the life and be satisfied. If it was Jesus, Jesus said that I am the light of the world. He don't need to see the light. He already was light. He's talking about the person, this person, the prolonged one will go through the suffering. Before the prolonged life start, he will go through the suffering. So my past 36 years, I came in this country 17, just like Joseph, just like Daniel, in exile in America. My life started till 36, I was suffering. I have suffered more than anybody else. I was fighting. I know what I gone through. And so, after the suffering of my soul, I saw the light. The Son of Man came upon me. Praise the Lord, gloria a Dios. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Build my house. I was caught up in the heaven. I was caught up front of the Father with the angels who were there, and they put the crown on me. I was with a filthy cloth, as in Zechariah chapter 3. I am that Jeshua. If the one of the prophet or one of the rabbi, he died and he wrote it down. He says the Messiah name was Jeshua. Of course, it's written in Zechariah chapter 3. Jeshua, I was the one caught up in heaven with my filthy clothes, and they gave me a crown. I am the one, so the Son of Man came and rested upon me. I am the one, so was sitting on the throne where thousands and thousands people front of me and thousands of thousands ministered to me. I am the one, so that I opened the book of life. I have seen all those visions that God have showed Daniel in the past, and I have seen the exactly same vision at this time. And that's why I always tell you, I am the Daniel from the dead. 4:7:62. That's how the 9:24 to 9:27. 7 times 7 plus 62, 7. My birthday. That's the prophecy of the Daniel. I am he. Now listen, I'm reading the furthermore to make you understand that this thing, it shows that he was the light. He was the light. He don't need to see the light. He will see the light of the life and the satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many. Because now I see the light, I will let everybody know that come to God. God, kingdom of the God is near. Repent, come and receive. I will bring many people into righteousness. When Jewish people will understand who I am and put me on my throne, so many people will be attracted to Jerusalem when we will build the third temple, when the God glory will be there. I will bring so many people to the righteousness. Now look what does it says in the end. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquity. Now again, look, this person also, which is me, I'm going to bear their iniquity. He's not talking about the past one. He's talking about the one have a prolonged life. The prolonged one also will, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death. What does that mean? That he poured out his life into death. You're not going to see me. That just like what you all know about suffering servant of Jesus, that he was crucified and died. No, I already died. I already died. When? I die when I give up this world. When I was suffering, my soul was suffering, and I was asking, I don't need this life. This is not the one I want. And over there, God realized, God looking for somebody who give up their life, not for this world, for the life to come. And so that's what I did, and that's what the Father likes. He likes if anybody give up their life for this world. And when I give up that life over here was because he poured out his life unto that. I give up my life. I die, and look what it says, and was numbered with the transgressor. Wait a minute. Why God has to put the number? He put the number. So either Jesus was numbered, I was numbered, maybe Daniel was numbered, Joseph was numbered, maybe Abraham was numbered, Isaac was numbered, maybe all the righteous ones. All the righteous ones, they did good work or bring people to righteousness and bore their sins or their transgressors. I think so. They are the one with the number. And that's how I am one of the number right now when I said that he came down, he left me his spirit with me, and my spirit is up there. My spirit is right now as a number. It's number, and look what that number is doing up there. Now look what he does. For he was numbered with the transgressors, for he bore the sin of many. Wait a minute, he's not talking about Jesus over here. He's talking about the one in the prolonged one. And bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressor. That's what my spirit is doing up there, interceding for others. I hope you understand. I am the cut off one. I am the prolonged one. I am the Joshua from Zechariah chapter 3, where I caught up in heaven and I got the crown, and the crown with 62nd years will be finished, and the 63rd. So I am about to come. I am about to come before the April. Doesn't matter what happened, my time is over. Time and a half a time is ending in December the 31st. 2024 will be start. And my days are going to come through. My birthday will be passed, and then I will be coming, or I may be coming before if they hasten me before he hasten me. So all those things are about to come now. As you know that I told you on my previous video, do not be intimidated by the world. The world will come to you to tell you we are against you, but you have to clean up from the root. If you don't clean up the root, the tree will be coming out bad and bad and bad and bad again. Root has to be pulled out completely. That bad tree has to get out, take it out. And you are doing right, even though we understand, I cry sometimes. I don't need these Moshiach things. I don't need this if I have to see people are dying and crying and suffering. But I don't have no choice. He chose me for some reason. These things are going on for years. These bloodsheds are going on for years, and it has to stop. And it will stop. When they will put me on my throne, when we will build the third house, and when everybody will see the God glory, that day the whole world will know that God has sent me to them to build the house. God has sent me them to bring everybody close to the God. The whole world see the God glory, and that day everybody will live in peace and harmony. Till that, it's going to happen. And remember, again, sometimes I watch the video and they tell you, yes, India is right now not part of you, but remember one day you will know. They don't have no choice, just like the others. There are others. We have Muslim in our countries also, and they will get mad. But that's what this all politicians do. Look, where is everybody else? Last 60 days they're talking. Turkey is talking, Yemen is talking, Iran is talking. Iran was dancing and jamming when Hamas jump on all Israeli. Where is Jordan? Where is Lebanon? Where is Hezbollah? Where is all those are just talking, but nobody came to help Palestinians. Nobody. Because it's written. It's going to happen. And if anybody comes against Israel, will be destroyed. It will be destroyed. It is better to stay where they are and let them clean up the mess. It's not about Palestinian, it's about those bad people needs to get out from there. Always it says in the Bible, the Palestinian will be a foreigner in that country. Israel belongs to the Jewish people. It's written all over this book. And nobody can change that one. And so the rest of the country, I think so, you all stay back and just watch, or you all will be destroyed. Meanwhile, I can go out and tell you a lot of things, but I tell you as my Father reveals me. I don't know everything. I don't know everything, how I will be hastening. I don't know what I need to be done after I will be hastening. I don't know how everything's going to work, who's going to be identify me, who's going to recognize me who I am. Is Elijah will come, and if Elijah will come, how they going to recognize him? I mean, so many questions people have, and so do I have. But I know my faith. I know I have seen the light. I know that I stay in the Word, and He reveals me day by day as I need it. And I'm passing down to you. Now, I've been telling this 3.5 years who I am. 23 years ago, I had told that I am the ancient one. And that's who I am. The ancient one came to see the ancient one. So if the Son of Man, He is the ancient one, or the Son of Man is, let's see if you believe that Jesus was the Son of Man. But remember, Jesus had a spirit like dove rest upon me. That's what the John see. In my case, Son of Man came in the cloud and rest upon me. Now, if He was the Son of Man, then I am the cut off one. I don't know. I'm just telling you that I know I am a Daniel from the dead. That's all I know, because he knew no sin become a sinner. That's what they said. But I am telling you that I have sinned. But when I give up my life, I'm become a righteous. But I'm interceding. Till I die, I don't know. How am I going to die? Or as far as I know, I'm not going to die. But I'm not going to open everything at this point. Let's watch and see what's coming up. But Torah is 100% correct. If you all are waiting for Moshiach, your Moshiach is here. Your Shiloh is here. I am the Shiloh. I am the son of King David. I am the Daniel from the dead. I am the Joshua. I am the branch. I am the ancient of days. I am the one I am who sent to you. My title never change. I am the prolonged one. I am the cut off one. All those titles Jesus never gave you. He never identified as I am the ancient of days. I am the son of King David. He never said that. And he can't, because I am the son of King David. So anyway, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, because I got something else coming up in my life, and I'm working on it. And as I know some more stuff through Father, I will pass it down to you. But we'll see you pretty soon in Jerusalem as 770 from Crown Heights, when they all will realize who I am, because I think so. I'm going to go with them to Israel together, and that will happen in coming months. God bless you all, and we'll see you next time.